Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-hosts, Matt Heider.
Better red than dead.
And Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
Do you ever find yourself wondering if you should spend the time, money, or both on a movie? Well, we're here to answer that question for you. Each week we put a movie on trial, discuss the facts, pass judgment, and let you know our verdict. To check out our other episodes, if you're watching this on YouTube, the link's down in the description below. This is also our spoiler-free review. Our deep dive reviews are available every Monday where fine podcasts are found. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Ghana, just to name a few. And as always, it's completely free to watch or listen. Today we're reviewing Mortal Kombat. It was released April 23rd, 2021. It was written by Greg Russo and Dave Callahan. It was directed by Simon McCoy. Stars Louis Tan, Jessica McNamee, Josh Lawson, Joe Taslim, Makad Brooks, Hiroki Sanada, Chin Han, Ludi Lin, and Max Huang. MMA fighter Cole Young seeks out Earth's greatest champions in order to stand against the enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. This is your first time joining us for a spoiler-free. We'll rate this movie on a 3-tiered scale. Worth it, meaning you should find a way to watch this movie. Stream it, meaning wait until you can watch it for free. And finally, not impressed, meaning you probably shouldn't watch this movie at all. So, with that, let's jump in and do our spoiler-free. Mattson, I'm going to start with you.
All right. I'm going to put this out there. I've seen the originals 1 and 2 being the movies. I didn't really have a problem with the first one being Mortal Kombat. I want to bring that in because I think it's important of how I view this current movie. I enjoyed the first one came out in the 90s, or was it late 80s? 95, like solid 90s movie, terrible special effects. But I love the music in that and just the build up to the final boss battle. And I really liked the final. It's the same guy in this movie, the god of the outer world, but he was just cooler to me in the old one. And so the reason I bring all that in, I liked the first one. The second Mortal Kombat sucked. It was terrible CGI, horrible story, and that is what this one felt like to me. It felt like an extension of Mortal Kombat 2 that had no direction, that had overpowered bad guys, but then all of a sudden overpowered good guys, and then like a bad guy, an overarching bad guy that was, I guess, more Sub-Zero than the god of the outer world, which it was fine with me. But the plot that I thought they could have built in this movie just never took off. They could have introduced Mortal Kombat so many different ways. They chose a birthmark, and I don't know. I mean, I don't want to give it all away right now, but you all can already tell there's going to be points in this movie I'm going to go off in our normal review. So I'm going to say is this: if you like Mortal Kombat and you want to hear them say the trademark fatality, flawless victory, you can watch it for that, or you can just go play the video game, and it's a much better experience overall. And you're going to have a good time because you're going to be beating up whoever you want to do anyways. This movie had good fighting scenes, but man, there was some serious dead time in the middle. Just some serious slow dead time. Don't watch this movie. Go play Mortal Kombat. Watch the first Mortal Kombat. It's more entertaining than this. So with that, I'm going to go with JJ. What's the worst one again? Give me that.
Not impressed.
Yeah, I am not impressed.
All right. Ian, what about you?
So I think why I have the feelings that I do about this movie is because I came into this expecting to hate it and like that it would just be gore for gore's sake and there wouldn't be anything entertaining. I wasn't expecting anything out of this movie. And then one of the characters like turned that all around for me because I was laughing. Oh man, I'll get into that in more in our deep dive, but there's no great plot. Some of the acting's terrible, like especially Sonya Blade's character was rough. And I do agree the whole like overpowered bad guys, but then all of a sudden overpowered good guys. All that stuff's true. But if you're looking for something and you like the fighting games, and that kind of feel, I'd never played many of the games. Maybe that's also why I have the things that I do. So maybe if you're not a Mortal Kombat gaming fan, you might think this is kind of entertaining. But I'm going to go with a stream it.
Stream it. Yeah, so I guess that leaves me. And I hated this movie. And for a couple of reasons. One, a lot of what you talked about, Mattson, like, So the last 3 games have had a better storyline than this movie had. So that's just
You can't, Jade, you can't tell me that. How could they have not written this any better? Like, to me, this was elementary school writing.
Yeah, it was bad. The dialogue was bad. The story was bad. Well, and here's the thing. So when we get into the deep dive, I'm going to talk about another way you can watch Mortal Kombat besides the old 90s movies, which the first one had some, I mean, it's nostalgic, right? Like, I'll go back and watch it because, like you said, the theme song was amazing. The acting was pretty good in some areas. And, you know, as bad as it was, like some of the fighting and the graphics and shit, I mean, it was at least entertaining. Annihilation was horrible. This movie was terrible. And again, it goes back to the games have a better storyline. They have more intriguing characters. And this is Mortal Kombat. It didn't have storylines until like after the movie was made. It was just a fighting game. I will say what this movie does have going for it that I was finally waiting for, and the thing I've been wanting for since I was a kid, was the violence, like the gore, the blood. It was actually very violent in places. There were some fatalities that came straight out of the game, which we'll talk about in the deep dive, that I thought was really impressive and cool. But it paled in comparison to how bad the acting was and how bad the dialogue was, and just how lackluster the story was for me. So I was very disappointed. On the flip side, a lot of my problem, I think, is because my expectations were so high because I misunderstood who it was that was making this film, which I'll talk about in the deep dive. But overall, it really let me down. I left very sad.
Movie again.
That's not true. Simon McCoy makes a lot of movies, unfortunately. But it just wasn't what I expected. It wasn't what I wanted. I'm with you. I'd rather go back and watch the 1995 version, and I didn't like it. So I'm more likely just going to go play Mortal Kombat 11, run through the story again, and live in that nostalgia of being able to actually play while I watch a decently written story. So for me, just out of pure, I mean, if you own HBO Max, watch this. That was the other thing. I was going to go watch this thing in the theater. I was so glad as much pain as I'm in right now, I'm so glad I had this project in my house come up, because I would have been pissed if I went to the theater to watch this movie. And if you have HBO Max like me already and you're paying for it, sure, watch this movie. But if you have to pay for this in any way, shape, or form, I'm not impressed. Don't watch this movie. Skip it. Especially if you're a Mortal Kombat fan. It'll just make you sad.
I will say that this movie made me want to play the Mortal Kombat.
And we can do that. I have them. I have them all.
Yeah, let's do that and watch this. So, Fun fact to our listeners, I was hanging out with a friend Friday night and just decided to watch it with that individual, but I was going to watch it with Javier on Saturday, and things didn't work out. Plans changed, and I just have to be honest, I was really happy those plans changed, because I really did not want to watch this movie again. Really didn't want to do that.
Yeah. I'll be seeing Javier later today, and I'll be telling him he dodged a bullet if he hasn't watched this movie. So
he did.
So it'll be fun. With that, just either watch it understanding it's not as good as most of us Mortal Kombat fans hoped, and maybe it's entertaining because like I said, the violence is there. The little nods to the video game are definitely there in abundance. But outside of that, it's just not a good movie. So, Mattson. Oh wait, Ian, what?
You should watch it for Kano. That's the only part worth watching, man.
Fair enough.
Gosh,
they did change him up quite a bit comparatively.
They really did.
And he was funny at times, for sure.
JJ, where can they find us? They can find us on wherever good podcasts are found. So Ghana, Apple, Stitcher. You can find us on our Spoiler Freeze on YouTube. Check out our website, whatsourverdict.com. It's a good time to jump on because we have to come up with our new slate of May movies. I know we're continuing to be excited because things are returning to normal and movies continue to come our way. So we are pumped. Come join the discussion. Come make some recommendations, or come get some merch on our site.
That is very true. Definitely check those things out. We do want to hear from you. That's a great point. You can also email us if you don't want to go to the website. Host at whatsourverdict.com. Tell us what you want us to watch coming up in May and June. We'd love that. With that, we appreciate you tuning in. Join us for our deep dive on Monday, the 26th. And we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Cinemagic out.